Hello and welcome to the Loyola School Mental Health Advanced Practice Program information session. My name is Michael Kelly. I'm a professor at the School of Social Work and I am a longtime school social worker myself. And I'm thrilled to share with you this program, this labor of love, and something that I think you can get involved in and change your school and enhance your skills. The title of my talk is Showing the Impact of Your Work, How to Be More Valuable as a School Clinician and Have Fun Doing It Too. And the people that are already in our program are having a great time, and I hope you get to be one of them. The first thing I just want to tell you is a little bit about myself and to tell you a bit about why the program is where it is and how you can get involved. I'm the program director. I've been at Loyola since 2006. In that time, I've written and published a bunch of articles and books on school mental health and EBP. I was a school social worker myself from 92 to 2006 in the Chicago area. So a lot of what I'm about to show you is the stuff that I wish I had been able to learn in graduate school or in my postmaster's time, and that I'm very eager to make sure we make available to as many people as possible. I direct another program related to the SMHAPP certificate, which is a CEU event in the summer that's trained over 1,300 people since 1998. If you're in town or want to come to Chicago on July 25th to 26th, we'd love to have you. So I'm going to talk about how we got here. How does this program here now, and what needs is it trying to meet, and what we're kind of doing with it. And then I'll get into the SMHAPP program in some detail and share some examples and perspectives of the people that are in the program now. There are people from 8 states that are currently in the SMHAPP certificate, so there's lots of different ways to apply the work that we do here. And then the sales pitch that August 1st is when you got to apply for the fall 2019 cohort. A big part of my research over the last 10 plus years has been to look at school social workers, but really school mental health professionals. I often call them school clinicians because this program is open to all school-based mental health professionals. Looking at survey research and related focus group and other qualitative research to understand what are the realities of practice. What do people say they're doing? How do they feel about it? What would they like to be doing differently, if at all? And if they can think about that with us, what are the barriers that are preventing them from doing that work? What we know are 2 kind of key areas that appear to be leverage points to make people able to do practice in a more systemic, evidence-informed way. The first is to be involved in earlier stages, prevention type work, Tier 1 and Tier 2, for those of you familiar with the MTSS frameworks. What we know, though, from the survey data we've done over the last 10 plus years is that people are, by and large, not doing that consistently. They do some of it, but they wish they could do more. They spend more of their time in that reactive mode that a lot of us are in schools, where we're putting out fires and doing crisis work. There also is a concern about preparation, not feeling necessarily ready to do that work and wanting to be ready to do that work. Additionally, that we hear again and again is people not being comfortable, prepared, ready to use data, collect data, use it, tell their story in their schools about it. So what does that mean? That means that a lot of the things that we see happening, whether it's the school violence conversations we're having now, talking about restorative practices, trauma-informed care, social emotional learning, all of those things which we cover in our SMHAPP certificate, all those things are conversations we want school clinicians to be in on. And to get in on them, they need to be involved at a universal level, and they need to be involved in using data to address them. This is not all grim. There's some recent research we've done that shows that a chunk of us are doing this work already just fine, and that may be you. And if so, this program will help you get better at what you do and will empower you to share what you do more widely. There's also this very large chunk of us that say that they do it sometimes, but for a variety of reasons are not able to practice in this systemic way. So that's really what this program is about. Is we want to get to those people, that 67% in this slide, reach you and say, can you come together in a professional learning community with other like-minded people and learn how to do that work more, be empowered to do it, and then be recognized as social emotional leaders in your buildings. We've tested this before I came to you with this certificate in 3 professional learning community or PLC projects in Chicago, Canada, and Michigan. And we're finding that when people come together on a regular basis and they learn together and then they are able to put into practice what they're learning and then eventually tell others about it in a variety of ways that we'll get into, that kind of training sticks. And what that means is that they're able to really hold on to it, refer to it, and build on it. And that's what this program is designed to do. So I see this work and larger project of school mental health practice work that I do organized around these key ideas. The first is we are trying to create online tools that are evidence-informed, free, and easy to use. And some of you have been to this site that I host, schoolsocialwork.net, along with my friend Scott Carchady, who's a school social worker and tech wizard. Go there now if you like, and you can learn more about this program as well as a bunch of other things we're doing there. I'm also interested, once enough of us get into this program, this will be our 4th cohort, building a network of master mentors, people that do this work and do it well and want to tell people about it and coach them. And that's happening on our School Social Work Network social media site, and a lot of you know about that one as well. The last thing that we're kind of interested in is, can we create sustainable and evidence-informed PLCs? And we really believe that the SMHAPP certificate is one way that we can do that, and we're seeing some really cool outcomes already. So one thing I always like to invite people to do when they think about, is this a program a fit for them? Think about yourself, think about your role right now in your schools. And some of you are in multiple schools, some of you are in one school, some of you have been there for a while. Make this kind of a little thought experiment for you today. The first column, if you made a little sheet of paper with this, would be, how would you describe your role and the role of fellow clinicians in your building? And what that could be based around what you do, it could be based around your skills, all those things. The second column is, how would the administrators in your building, your special ed director, your principal, your dean, et cetera, how would they describe your role? And what would they say you do? And then the third one is, how would your staff, and by staff I mean teachers obviously, I also mean parapros, I mean custodians, secretaries, all those adults in the building, how would they view the role of the clinician? And the short answer for today is, to the extent that those 3 descriptions are aligned, they don't have to be exact, but to the extent that they're aligned, you're much more likely to be able to do the work that you really want to do and make the impacts that you were trained to make. Not having those roles aligned is part of what this program will help you address, because you're going to engage in a 2-year school change project, some of which in the past has been about people in our program helping these other stakeholder groups, the staff and the admin, understand more fully what it is we do and recognize that in a way that's impactful for the school community as well as you personally. So why do SMHAPP? It's the most up-to-date, current, and relevant research. I'm very involved on national and international levels in that way, and I'll say more about people that I bring on as guest lecturers and other adjuncts that teach with us. You'll certainly be exposed to a variety of strategies and skills that you'll be able to practice and to make your practice more effective. You will be, by the end of the 2 years, a recognized leader in your school based on the work you do. A lot of you are leaders already, but this will enhance your leadership role. And then not a small thing, it is a 15-credit program that is graduate level credit, and you will qualify for a higher salary in a lot of people's districts based on salary lane advancement. So just quick details on the program itself. It's 15 credits. It's primarily online. I say 99% online because there's one summer time we get together in July and meet at the Summer Institute, and that's in person. Otherwise, everything's online. Most of it is done at your own pace, meaning that you can take a class for that semester and do it around the rest of your life. There is a 2-year integrative seminar that meets twice a month at night, and that's one of the highlights and one of the most valued parts of our certificate. That is done with us on camera, like I'm talking to you today. And it's to be completed in 2 years. And we have people doing it and completing it, and people are really enjoying it and getting a lot out of it. So here's just a look at what that synchronous time, that integrative seminar time looks like. This is a cohort that I'm working with of just amazing school mental health professionals. Most of them on this picture are school social workers, though we've had school counselors and there's a school psychologist on there as well. Also on this slide next to me is a guest lecturer who's a school social worker and former principal, and now one of the most important researchers in our field, Aaron Thompson, the University of Missouri, talking about his really innovative work to develop data systems to address multiple tiers of support. Here are the classes themselves. Like I said, this 2-year integrative seminar is taught by me and guest lecturers and other faculty. This is where you develop that school change project. That's where you learn kind of the core ideas of the certificate. It's also where you get to know your PLC colleagues. You get to know each other. You work together. There's an accountability piece where you work together in dyads. So it's a lot of kind of teaching each other as well as obviously learning from me and others that I bring on. The other 3 classes, like I said, are modular, meaning that they are taken during that semester at your own time frame. The first one is very important core class around evidence-based practice in schools. We use a lot of the research I've done and others that I've worked with to get you most up to date on the key issues of facing schools today, and also how to understand what is or isn't evidence-based, because that's a term that's thrown around a lot, and we give you a lot of tools to really look at that and develop a critical eye for reading research. The next one, I'm a big fan of strength-based work in schools. When I worked in schools, one of the things I was very concerned about was how deficit-based most of the work I saw going on around me was. So this is where we go in deep on things like solution-focused brief therapy, DBT with the mindfulness component, motivational interviewing. Those are all things that we spend a lot of time with, and you get to enhance and sharpen your skills there. And then finally, we have a special topics course that for the last couple of years has been around data and data done right in school mental health. That's taught by a special ed administrator and a former school social worker. So what is this all adding up to? Like I said, the school change project that you engage in, obviously is something you select. It's something you feel passionate about. You identify that problem. You identify the data sources to do a needs assessment that first year. You develop a logic model to understand what outcomes you want to impact and how you want to make a difference. You also build key alliances, because this is not just about you making the change. It's you leveraging your skills as a community organizer and as coalition builder to build those key alliances. In year 2, you deliver the intervention and you begin to measure the outcomes of it. All along the way, you are keeping it on your school radar through what we call social marketing, whether that's a newsletter or get up in front of people and talking about it, or building other ways to reach people. You see here in this picture, one of our students, Sean Delaney, is a school social worker and a SEL administrator in Columbus, Ohio. And she is talking about her project, which is to do a evidence-based audit of all her school's SEL programs. So a big part of this program is to do this project, deliver it, but also to tell people about it through writing, through speaking, through various ways that we do together in the program. One of the ways we do the writing is at that schoolsocialwork.net site I mentioned. Here is a screen capture of it. And you can be writing articles for this. You will be assigned to write a few. But this is a chance for you to get your work out to thousands of people around the country, actually around the world at this point, that read everything we post there. And it gives you a chance to be seen and heard. Another place that you're seen and heard is you will present your work at the Summer Institute. And this is me talking up last year's theme, Together We Can Do This, School Social Workers Changing Their Schools. A big feature of all of this is to think about what it is that you are most concerned about in your buildings. So people have done lots of things related, not surprisingly, to issues of school disruptions, behavior problems, looking at that through a restorative lens, looking at that through a trauma-informed lens, from mindfulness. So behavior has been a focus. A lot of people are really interested in making their teams function better and being more critical about what does or doesn't work in team practice. So those are all things you have options to do, and all of you will then present your work at this Summer Institute every July. So I'm going to zoom out and just go to an actual set of tweet threads that I created that I think do a nice job of actually showing what it looks like for people in our program. So the question I ask is, what does it look like when school mental health professionals become the social emotional leaders in their schools? So here's another screen capture of all of us in our evening integrative seminar. This is just more on me. Some research that we've done recently, school clinicians struggle to develop a practice identity that's evidence-informed and oriented around prevention work, in addition to all those caseload and crisis intervention demands. But we know that when people come together that they can do it and they do it and they feel really excited about it. So here's that school change project in action. So here's Brianna Stiegel, who created a calm classroom mindfulness intervention for her entire school and has implemented it and has seen dramatic decreases in behavior problems, as well as just more kind of good outcomes for teachers and increased morale, things like that. Here's another one of our students who his project is around using universal screening data to build stronger tier 2 services for his middle school students. So this idea of getting involved with data, getting involved to use it to help the school do things differently at tier 1 and tier 2 is a focus. And then this is another student, Megan Tracy, who works in a rural special ed cooperative. As you can tell, people are from all different kinds of school contexts, different parts of the country. Megan's project was about trying to really create better criteria for her services and to help her whole department do that. Again, there's a lot of chances for you to shape this around what matters to you. We also are into teaching each other and sharing what we know. So here's another cohort and them about to do that. So here's some examples. Sean, who you met earlier in a slide about her SEL audit, shared a empowerment program called Girls Rocks. And that was really very cool that she shared that with us. Here's another presentation by a school social worker, Tanya Hernandez in Las Vegas, about how she's used the school services source book to implement evidence-informed strategies. This is another school social worker, this time Lisa Johnson-Hare in Missouri. She is very interested in using Renew, a wraparound tier 3 intensive intervention, and she talks about how she did that. And then finally, there's a school psychologist, Dory Dilakowski, who is in a rural area in northern Wisconsin, who is teaching her kids about how to use relaxation. And that's going to be also her project where she brings the zones of regulation to scale within her district. So what are the key takeaways? When school clinicians have a supportive learning community and chance to learn and practice new skills, they flourish. And that's what we're trying to do here, and that's what we offer. So ultimately, this is a program that is designed for you to use it and apply as you see fit. As you can tell, I haven't mentioned what might sound like a lot of busy work. Everything's applied. Everything is you taking things you want to know and going deeper, or learning things that you've always wanted to go into more depth with. And that's what we're really passionate about. And again, we have them, you just saw Mike and Megan, this is them sharing their projects last summer. And Brianna as well, sharing her mindfulness stuff. I'm very connected to a variety of expert researchers and practitioners around the country and increasingly around the world. They will all be involved in different ways as guest lecturers. These are people all part of a research group I co-chair with Ron Astor from UCLA that meets at the School Social Work Association of America meeting every year. These are also other content experts who I've consulted for the projects our students do. They are also available to consult with you. Four of the women on this are all expert practitioners and school social workers from Midwest PBIS. The fellow at the bottom is a data expert and school social worker from Florida, Robert Lucio, professor. And the fellow at the top is an internationally known school-based family counseling expert, Brian Gerard. So again, this is a mighty group of 6 people who have a wealth of experience, and they're all committed to helping you do your best work. All right, so the nitty gritty that everybody wants to know, that probably if you clicked on this, you want to know most of all. The deadline to apply is August 1st. You got to be a professional working in a school. And you need to be in the school during the program, because a lot of obviously what you're going to do is apply this. The requirements to apply, it's a free application, pretty straightforward, a statement of purpose, 3 letters of rec, official transcripts, and proof that you work in a school. It's online, free to apply. And the all-important slide. It's $10,000 for the entire program, including all books and other materials. So that's $2,500 per semester for 4 semesters. We do have financial aid available. At this point, we do not have stipends, but we do have financial aid through loans, and you can do FAFSA to do that. Many people are also saying that they get their district to at least partially reimburse what they're doing. And that's really it. That's what we hope that you consider doing. The program, we were able to negotiate with the higher ups at our school a lower tuition rate than the typical graduate, I should say, tuition rate. So what would typically be a $16,000, $17,000 program is actually $10,000. Again, knowing that's a cost issue, but knowing also that for a lot of you, that may also pay itself off down the road in terms of a salary lane advancement. Just a couple more testimonials before we wind up. This is a graduate of our program who's now a coordinator of MTSS in Philadelphia. I completed this program and it was so fantastic. I learned so much. It provided me with the knowledge and skills I needed to go deeper with my work. Seriously, it was the best professional decision I've made. Diana Phelps is just a dynamo and amazing practitioner, and we're so grateful that she was part of us. This fellow you've already seen, Mike Flood, talking about how it was a boost for his practice, that it gave him concrete tools. We don't shy away from talking about theoretical stuff, but it's mostly about here are tools, here are things you can apply, what have you done with them? And that the goal is to give you more confidence, inspire you, and obviously he recommends it, and you can learn more from him if you like. Here are a few more testimonials. Sean, you already saw doing her SEL audit. She really focuses on how exciting the Tuesday night meetings for her class were. The interactive portion of the class is the highlight of my every other Tuesday night. So being part of that professional learning community really matters to people, and we would love for that to be your reality come fall. And then Carlos Evans, the fellow in the middle here, is our outgoing president in Illinois of our state association, and he says that that this has been a real incredible program for him in terms of learning how to use data, and that he's gained so much useful information from it. And here's Carlos again, just to remind you that the key kind of core pieces of this program, obviously we were very focused on evidence-informed practice. We're going to get you up to date on lots of things related to the field. We're going to give you lots of tools to use in getting better using and collecting data. And then we're going to create this professional learning space where you come together and hopefully you enjoy the time with each other, but you also teach each other and learn from me and my colleagues I bring on. And then all of this is in service of you becoming a social emotional leader in your building around a specific project that you lead and that we coach you through. So that's it. That's what I hope that you consider doing. We are, again, looking for a fall cohort of dynamic, energized, and excited school clinicians. You can be school social work, school psych, school counselor, school nurse, a teacher who works intensively with mental health support. All of those folks are welcome. My contact information you can find pretty easily, but just to tell you, mkell17@luc.edu is my contact info. I hope you consider applying, and I hope to see you this fall. Thank you.